If you're a parent, you know this struggle. It's constant, right? Managing screen time without becoming like the digital police 24/7.
Yeah, that feeling of always negotiating, always arguing, it's exhausting.
Exactly. And just saying no doesn't really build a sustainable system. You need something clearer, something more structured, but, not something that requires you to be hovering all the time.
Right. And that's exactly why we're doing a deep dive today into a particular approach, a system from Enco Solutions LLC. It's built around two apps working together, Alli360 and Kids360.
Okay. Alli360 and Kids360.
Yeah, and understanding how these two interact, that's really the key. It's not just one app doing everything.
Right. That's the first thing that jumped out. This dual architecture, why two separate apps? Why not just, one big one?
Well, that separation is actually pretty core to how it works. Think of it like a command center and an agent out in the field.
Okay, I like that. So which one is the command center?
That would be Kids360. That's the app for the parent's phone. It's where you set the rules, check the reports, see the location, all that. It's the control panel.
Got it. Parent phone, Kids360, control panel. So Alli360, that goes on the kid's device.
Exactly. Alli360 is installed on the child's smartphone or tablet. And its job is really twofold.
Okay.
First, it tracks app usage, just monitors what's being used and for how long, and sends that data back. But critically, it's also the enforcer. It receives the rules from Kids360, the time limits, the schedules, and it implements them on the child's device.
Oh, okay. So Kids360 makes the rules, Alli360 makes sure they're followed on the ground, so to speak.
You got it. Alli360 is the mechanism that actually blocks the apps when time's up or during restricted periods.
Does that make it harder for, say, a tech-savvy kid to just delete the app and bypass everything? Because the control is separate.
That's definitely part of the design philosophy, I think, because Kids360 is expecting to hear back from Alli360 if that connection breaks or if Alli360 is tampered with.
The parent gets an alert on their end in Kids360.
Precisely. It creates a kind of check and balance system, makes it more resilient against simple workarounds like just hitting delete.
Okay, that distinction makes sense. Kids360 commands, Alli360 enforces. So let's unpack what kind of controls parents actually get with this system.
Right. And the focus is very much on managing, let's call it recreational screen time. It's not about shutting down the whole phone.
Good distinction. So we're not talking about a single blunt, you get X hours on your phone today limit. It's more targeted.
Much more. You can set specific daily time limits for categories like entertainment apps, games, and social media, the things that tend to consume the most time. Right?
Yeah, the usual suspects. So I can say, okay, 2 hours total for games and social media combined or something like that.
Exactly. You define those limits in Kids360.
And when that time runs out, what does the kid see? Does the app just vanish?
Alli360 steps in and blocks access. The app icon might still be there, but trying to open it won't work. You'll likely get a message saying time's up or it's restricted. But there's another layer too, which is the scheduling.
Ah, the usage schedules. That sounds useful for things like homework time or bedtime.
That's the idea. You can set up specific blocks of time, say school hours or maybe 8 p.m. onwards, where entertainment apps are just blocked, period. Doesn't matter if they've used up their daily limit or not.
So it automates those no games after dinner rules.
Yeah.
Takes the argument out of it, potentially?
Potentially, yeah. The rule is just there, enforced by the tech. Less negotiation needed every single night.
But what about apps that blur the lines? Like YouTube can be educational or entertainment. Or what if they play a game inside a web browser? How does Alli360 handle that?
That's the million-dollar question for all parental controls, isn't it? It mainly works by identifying specific app package names. So the known big games, the big social media apps.
Okay.
If something is running inside a generic web browser, or maybe it's a brand new app the system doesn't recognize yet. Yeah, it might slip through the category-specific blocking.
So the blocking isn't foolproof for everything.
It's focused on installed identifiable apps. Browser usage would likely just show up as browser time in the reports. It still requires the parent to look at those reports and see what they're doing in the browser,
Oh, right. Which brings us to monitoring. It's not just about blocking. It's about seeing what's going on.
Exactly. The system provides quite detailed usage statistics back to the parent's Kids360 app.
What kind of details are we talking about?
You get reports showing which specific applications were used and for how long each day or week. It breaks it down.
So you can move past that vague, you're always on your phone argument.
You can say, look, the report shows 3 hours on TikTok today and our limit was 1 hour. It gives you concrete data to discuss, much more productive, hopefully.
Okay, data on app usage. What about location? Is that part of the package?
Yes, there's real-time GPS location tracking. You can see the child's device location on a map within the Kids360 app.
And Alli360 on the child's phone is sending that GPS data back.
Correct. Alli360 collects and transmits the location data, but the parent views it and manages any related features, like maybe setting up safe zones or alerts through their Kids360 interface.
Makes sense. Now, critically, what happens if all the limits are hit, all the schedules are active? Can the child still make a call? Or send a text if they need to?
Ah, yes. The always keep in touch aspect. This is crucial. Even when games, social media, everything else is locked down tight by Alli360, essential communication usually remains open. We're talking about standard phone calls and SMS text messages. Those core functions are typically exempt from the blocks.
So the system is smart enough to distinguish between, say, TikTok and the actual phone dialer app.
That's the intention. It has to be, really. You don't want the control system to accidentally prevent your child from calling you in an emergency.
Are we sure it's just calls and SMS? What about things like WhatsApp or maybe a school communication app? Can those be whitelisted?
Based on the general descriptions, the guarantee seems focused on those native, non-internet dependent functions calls and basic texts. Whitelisting specific third-party apps might be possible depending on the version or settings, but the core promise is ensuring that fundamental line of communication stays open no matter what the time limits are doing.
Okay, that's a really important safety feature.
Absolutely.
Now, here's where it seems to take a really interesting turn.
Mm.
This idea of, well, incentives. Earning screen time.
Yes. This is a fascinating twist, moving beyond just restriction. Some versions apparently include features where kids can earn additional screen time.
Earn it how? By doing chores.
Not quite like that, actually. The examples given are more specific, tied to tasks within the app ecosystem itself.
Like what?
Things like solving logic problems, maybe completing specific math exercises presented by the app, or even potentially achieving physical activity goals, like a certain number of steps recorded by the phone.
Wow. Okay, so solve a math problem, get 15 minutes of game time. Is that the idea?
That seems to be the concept. It directly links effort in parent-approved areas, academics, logic, physical activity, to the reward of digital leisure time.
That is quite a shift. It turns screen time into a kind of currency, earned through productivity.
It absolutely does. It frames digital access not just as something to be limited, but something to be actively earned through specific, measurable actions.
Which raises the question of verification.
Right.
How does the app know the math problem was solved correctly or the steps were actually taken?
Exactly. For something like math problems, the app itself would likely generate them and check the answers. That's relatively straightforward.
Okay.
For physical activity, it would presumably need to tap into the phone's built-in sensors, like the accelerometer or pedometer, verifying that accurately and preventing cheating. Well, that's technically more challenging.
Yeah, to shake the phone, right?
People find ways. But the core idea is this direct, almost transactional link. Complete task X, receive Y amount of screen time access.
It fundamentally changes the dynamic. Instead of stop playing that game, it becomes, if you want more game time, you need to finish these logic puzzles first.
Precisely. It puts the onus on the child to earn their leisure, framing it as a reward for productive behavior.
You have to wonder about the quality of those tasks, too. Are they genuinely educational? Or just hoops to jump through?
That's a valid point. And does the parent have control over the type or difficulty of the tasks? Lots of implementation questions there.
And for it to work as a behavioral incentive, the reward probably needs to be pretty instant, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. If the child solves the problem and then has to wait hours for approval, the connection breaks down. It needs that immediate feedback loop. Task complete, boom, extra time unlocked.
That instant gratification linked to effort.
Yeah,
That's the novel part.
it really is.
Okay, so let's just recap the main points for everyone listening.
Yeah.
The big takeaway is this Alli360 system relies on two parts. Kids360 for parent control.
And Alli360 on the child's device for enforcement and tracking. That dual setup is key for resilience.
And the whole system is built around distinguishing essential communication calls, texts, which always work.
From the entertainment apps, games, social media, which are the things being managed by time limits and schedules.
Right. But the really standout feature, the one that gets you thinking, is that incentive system. Earning screen time through math or logic or exercise.
Yeah, that move from pure restriction to performance-based rewards is significant.
So the final thought we want to leave you with is this. Think about what happens when digital leisure time becomes something you explicitly have to earn through specific tasks like math problems or physical activity.
How does that change the value we place on downtime? Does unstructured, unearned relaxation still have a place? What does this kind of gamified access tell us about where digital parenting and maybe even, attention itself is heading?
Definitely something to chew on. We'll be back with another deep dive soon.